A light burst in the middle of the swamp forest. On a fallen tree trunk lay a small, yellow, glowing organism. It was confused about its current location. The last thing it remembered was scrolling through his phone, reading manga in bed, before unknowingly falling asleep. He tried to shout, even though he had no mouth. After thinking it through, he concluded that he might have died suddenly and come to another world. Instead of panicking further, he accepted reality and decided to examine his surroundings and think about survival. He called out again, hoping someone would hear him. No one answered. The only response was a pair of red eyes staring from the darkness, which made him decide to stay quiet. He began scanning his surroundings. There were bugs and miasma everywhere, thick and humid like the peak of a rainy season. Strangely, despite the environment, he felt happy and comfortable. Still, he suppressed that feeling. He did not yet know what kind of creature he had reincarnated into. He only felt like a lump. Something appeared before him, a system window displaying his information. He was horrified. He had reincarnated as a slime mold. His HP was decreasing, and he would die if he did not eat soon. He searched for anything edible. Then he noticed one of his traits, decomposer. Since he was a slime, he knew slime molds were decomposers that could consume wood. Without hesitation, he focused on the fallen tree. With just a thought of the command to eat, his body automatically spread out and wrapped around the wood. The taste surprised him. It was acceptable, like a soggy biscuit. After 15 minutes, he had grown larger and covered a greater portion of the trunk. He felt full, leveled up, and received a notification that he could not gain experience from decomposing dead wood for an hour. He also gained one skill enhancement. He had 2 skills, decompose and pulsation. He understood decompose, but pulsation confused him. He even wondered if advertisements existed in this new world. Curious, he chose to enhance pulsation. After enhancement, knowledge flowed into him. Pulsation meant making the protoplasm, the living gel-like substance inside him, flow back and forth to achieve displacement. Simply activating the skill transmitted the knowledge directly into his mind, even though he did not have a brain. Since wood would no longer grant experience for the time being, he decided to explore. He was amazed that his body could change shape according to his will. Upon reaching the ground, he saw a mushroom. As he moved toward it, he thought that humans would end up in a coffin if they ate random things. But as a slime mold, his instinct told him it was a delicacy. Though he moved slowly, he searched for the shortest path and scooted forward. Slime mold trivia. Even though slime molds move slowly, they can find the fastest route through complex mazes. In an experiment simulating the Tokyo subway system, a slime mold recreated the efficient layout in 26 hours, a design that took human engineers 10 years to plan. He finally reached the mushroom, which was large compared to his body. He wrapped around it and began to eat. Suddenly, the scene shifted into something like a dating simulation. A man stood proudly, saying he was happy to finally meet Pure Little Mushroom after dating online. The pink-haired figure sitting before him asked if he was Tough Guy Bang Bang. He confirmed with pride. The pink-haired woman was revealed to be the mushroom and invited him closer. The slime mold shouted that he had been scammed by a toxic woman. Back in reality, his HP dropped rapidly. He had been poisoned. He detached himself and retreated to the tree roots. A notification appeared. No experience gained from failed decomposition. Poison status cleared. Vitality reduced to 17 due to lost body mass. He returned to the dead tree, consumed it for 15 minutes, and restored his vitality. He declared that he was back, full of life. Then he descended again. This time, he planned carefully. He would decompose the poisonous mushroom little by little, detach before the poison overwhelmed him, regenerate on the dead tree, and repeat the process. He named it Project Move Mountain. and as long as there is enough time, he believes that he can take it down. In the dating simulation scenario, the pink-haired mushroom sighed and said it was already his 8th attempt, asking if he would not give up. Suddenly, cuffs appeared on the mushroom's wrists, and the slime transformed into a police officer, declaring the mushroom under arrest. Back in reality, after the 8th attempt, he successfully decomposed the mushroom and gained level 1 poison resistance. He finally understood why he had lasted longer with each attempt. His tolerance had increased. Still, he felt slightly disappointed. He had expected more experience from such a difficult opponent. But he did not stop. There were still many mushrooms in the swamp forest, and he moved forward. He moved toward another mushroom. After decomposing it, he learned through the system that it was a straw pipe mushroom, safe and non-toxic. He leveled up from 2 to 3 and gained 0.5 skill enhancement points. Next, he approached a monk's cap mushroom. It was highly toxic, tasted spicy, but provided a large amount of experience. After carefully decomposing it, he reached level 4. His poison resistance increased to level 2, and he gained another 0.5 skill enhancement. He continued to another group of mushrooms. By the time he finished, he had gained enough experience to reach level 5 and earned 0.4 skill enhancement points. Then, a notification appeared. He would not receive any experience from decomposing mushrooms for the next 24 hours. After reaching the limit, he decided to rest and return to his home, the fallen dead tree. Since he had no skill to defend himself, he attached poisonous mushrooms to his head, using them as both protection and emergency food. He remembered watching Animal World as a child, where a crab used sea anemones to drive away octopus. Inspired by that, he felt proud, for now his safety problem was temporarily solved. As he moved closer to the swamp, he heard buzzing. A group of hornets hovered nearby. He quickly hid, hoping the poisonous mushrooms on his body would scare them away. Before anything happened, a frog suddenly leaped out and ate several hornets. The sight frightened him. The remaining hornets attacked the frog, stinging and biting its skin. Although the frog was strong individually, the swarm made up for the difference in numbers. The slime mold watched carefully. If both sides injured each other, he hoped to collect some monster scraps. Logically, decomposing monsters should grant far more experience than mushrooms or dead wood. The frog seemed overwhelmed at first. Then it used empowered tongue. Its tongue shot out, trapping the hornets all at once before pulling them into its mouth. But something even more terrifying approached. At first, he thought it was a snake, his nemesis. Instead, it was the tail of a massive red bird. The bird landed nearby and noticed the slime mold. The slime mold stopped resisting. He almost offered himself up, accepting his fate. But after staring at him for a moment, the bird simply flew away. The wind from its wings alone dealt 30 damage to him. Fortunately, he survived. That night, back at the dead tree where he first awakened, the slime mold trembled. He realized he stood at the very bottom of the food chain. Perhaps the only reason the bird ignored him was because the gap in the food chain was too wide. Maybe he was not even considered food. After all, he was merely a decomposer. Even though he had leveled up 4 times in one night, he was still a small and fragile creature. He wondered how a slime could survive and rise in the coming days. After all the decomposing he had done, exhaustion overwhelmed him. Part of him still hoped that everything was just a dream and that he would wake up wrapped in his blanket. The next morning, a green substance dripped slowly from a mushroom. A drop of green substance fell onto the slime mold. His life decreased by 1 point, and the sudden pain woke him up. Shocked and hurt, he reacted on instinct. He jumped, and at that very moment, he acquired a new skill. Burst. A skill that could instantly generate a powerful thrust. After landing, he saw the source of the attack. A snail was eating one of the mushrooms he had used to cover himself. The snail sprayed green liquid onto the mushroom, melting it before calmly consuming it. The slime mold shouted at the stinking snail, although I'm not sure if he could truly speak without a mouth. He was furious. Not only had the snail stolen his mushroom without asking, it had also dripped saliva onto his face and nearly disfigured him. The snail, which strangely looked like something from which one could get cow milk, responded with meaningless gibberish. The slime told the snail not to play the victim, because it would not work on him. The snail answered again, its body trembling slightly. For some reason, the slime felt that they were alike. Two creatures wandering this world, simply trying to find something to eat. Seeing how pitiful the snail appeared made him question whether he was being too unforgiving. He told the snail that there were plenty of mushrooms around, so it did not matter if it ate that one. The snail returned to eating as if nothing had happened. Watching this, the slime began to fantasize. It was like a typical shonen manga trope where friendship is born from a fight. He imagined them forming a party, leveling up together, changing class, and building a powerful bond to defeat the great demon king. He convinced himself that having a companion was the right way to survive and grow stronger in this new world. He tried to communicate, proposing that they form a team and look out for one another. He even promised the snail would always have enough mushrooms to eat. The snail tilted its head and replied with more gibberish. Then it attacked. The snail bit into him and began eating. Pain spread through his body as he received damage. In that moment, he accepted a harsh truth. Monsters in this world did not care about feelings. There were no friendships, only eating or being eaten. He fled as quickly as he could while the snail chewed. Despite its pitiful appearance, the snail was far stronger than he was. The snail noticed him escaping and began to chase him. In desperation, the slime used his remaining skill points to level up pulsation, which increased his speed, at least from his own perspective. In reality, both of them were painfully slow. Even after 3 minutes, they had barely moved an inch. Somehow, they had the same speed. The snail spat green acid again. The liquid hit the slime, slicing him in half. His consciousness remained in the larger half of his body. He watched in horror as the snail devoured the smaller half, giving him a brief chance to escape. But the snail finished quickly and resumed the chase. Thinking fast, the slime grabbed a pointy mushroom. Just as the snail was about to eat him, he thrust the mushroom deep into its mouth. The snail tried to shake it off, but soon collapsed onto the ground. A notification appeared. He gained experience and leveled up to level 6. Relief filled him. His plan had worked. He realized that the snail always spat acid to dissolve mushrooms before eating them. That meant it likely did not have poison resistance itself. He burst into laughter after defeating his first monster in this new world. He felt excited and wondered what kind of surprise he would get from decomposing it. However, when he looked at the snail's slimy body, he felt disgusted. The texture was unpleasant. Still, meat was meat. He decided to decompose the snail. The moment he tasted it, he was shocked. It was terrible, too salty and sour, with a texture like thick snot. It was so disgusting that he thought he might die from it. For a moment, he considered throwing it away, but that would waste the prize he had risked his life to obtain. If he did not grow stronger soon, he would lose everything. He did not have the right to be a picky eater. He told himself that he could either die or endure it. With all his courage, he closed his eyes and pinched his nose, even though he did not have one. Then he swallowed it in one gulp. After some time, he finished eating and spat out the snail's outer shell. He gained experience and leveled up to level 7. The system said his optimal state was restored, but he still felt worse than before. He checked his skills. Decomposition was for eating. Pulsation was for running away. Poison resistance was for enduring damage. Burst was also for escaping. He threw a tantrum because he did not have a single skill meant for attacking. Still, he knew complaining was useless. He had not even chosen to become a slime mold. Even if he had an attack skill, he was not strong enough to challenge powerful enemies. He upgraded pulsation to level 4 and tested it. He confirmed that he was faster. He could now move at 20 centimeters per second, which was about 0.78 kilometers per hour. He called it weak and felt like crying. 1 week later, he remained in his territory around the dead tree. It was safe, but his resources were almost gone. He had only enough to level up 2 more times. After understanding his physical characteristics, he decided it was time to find a new base. Before leaving, he prepared to resupply. He used a skill called search by flattening his body and spreading out his veins. This allowed him to move in multiple directions at the same time. The higher his HP, the more cytoplasm he had, and the wider his exploration range became. After mastering body control, he learned to store items inside himself and decompose materials while exploring. It was very efficient. He stored mushrooms such as white fungus and small straw mushrooms. He also decomposed some and gained experience. Suddenly, he received a notification that a target could not be decomposed, and he took slight damage. He recognized the situation. It was another snail. An acid liquor struck him, causing minor damage. Thanks to his increased speed, he managed to dodge the attack. He noticed this snail was much faster than the previous one. Even so, he felt confident it would not hit him again. Another splash of acid struck him, and the snail slowly approached him, thinking he had already won. The slime mold quickly stuffed a poisonous mushroom into the snail's mouth. He continued the same strategy, only allowing himself to be hit on purpose when necessary. Now that he understood the snail's weakness, defeating it became easy. This was the difference in their intelligence. After the snail consumed the poisonous mushroom and collapsed, he decomposed it and gained enough experience to reach level 10. Although he still felt uncomfortable eating snail meat, he could not deny that it gave a large amount of experience points. He continued searching for a new base. Soon, he sensed something approaching. He thought it was another snail and challenged it to come out. Instead, a blade-legged centipede appeared. It stood tall before him, showing off its sharp blade legs. He panicked. It looked too dangerous. The centipede moved closer. In fear, he swung the poisonous mushrooms he carried and shouted for it to stay back. The centipede cut the mushrooms easily. His mushroom attack was useless. The centipede wrapped around him and bit into his slimy body. However, its blade legs began to sink into him. The slime mold realized that he might be its natural counter. His body was immune to blade attacks. Feeling relieved, he decomposed the centipede and gained free experience points. After that, he roamed the area in search of prey. Some creatures were easy to consume, others were out of reach, like a flying bee. He also ignored an insect that looked like a cockroach, which he preferred not to deal with. He happily collected mushrooms wherever he went. Soon, he reached level 13. He had 157 hit points, level 6 decomposition, level 8 pulsation, level 5 poison resistance, and level 1 burst. He concluded that eating meat truly made a difference. His leveling speed had improved greatly. The slime mold felt that his characteristics were not bad at all. With his current strength, he believed he could defeat another monster and enjoy the taste of meat again.